What's up guys, today I'm going to show you how I get clips and film them in Skater XL for console. Today I decided for this tutorial I was going to do a backside 180 kickflip, which would put me into fakie so that I could do a fakie backside 180 laser heel. In this first clip that I got, you can see I landed it, but I don't like the way that I don't land straight. Both the tricks come out just not straight. So you can see on that backside 180 laser heel, it's almost perfect, but I land so skew, so crooked. It just doesn't look that good. If you land something and it doesn't look exactly how you like it or perfectly how you wanted it to look, then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna do it again. But on this run, you see that my board hits the first stairs and the second stairs, which to me that's unacceptable, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. In this clip, the backside 180 flip is almost perfect, but at a closer look, you can see that the fakie backside 180 laser heel, right there, the heel kind of goes through the board. I just don't really like that, so obviously I do it again. So again, that backside flip is basically perfect, but then there's like a late pop on the laser heel and my front foot doesn't really catch it too nicely. So it's a good clip, but still I'm gonna do it again. Don't be scared to redo the trick over and over. Get the best clip. Like, land the trick 5-10 times if you have to. You want to make sure you use the clip that you think is the best. If you think someone could come along and redo your trick and do it better than you, then that means you need to do it again until you're really satisfied. Now this final one, it was exactly what I wanted to get. So with this one, it was the perfect little bit of a late flip, backside flip. I landed it nicely. And the laser heel, what I really liked about the laser heel here is my front foot kind of comes around and finishes rolling my board over for the catch. I really like that. I land straight both times. I don't hit the stairs. It's basically, that's the clip, right? So one thing, in my opinion, I think zooming out just looks terrible because it warps everything. And a lot of people, they want to mimic a fisheye lens, but what a fisheye lens is, it's a lens. It's a peripheral lens. It's not zooming out. So when people zoom out, they think, oh, look, a fisheye. It's not a fisheye. You're just zooming out, which distorts your footage. And if you look carefully here, look how warped the board is. I mean, it looks really skinny and like over-exaggerated. And I mean, if you look at the trucks and the wheels, it's like I'm in a monster truck derby or something. Those wheels and trucks look ridiculous. The board looks ridiculous. The character looks ridiculous. Everything about zooming out just makes the footage look ridiculous. It just doesn't, it really doesn't look good. I mean, look at the board in this shot. Look how stupid the board looks. I'm sorry, but a lot of people, like, they want a fisheye lens, but it just isn't a fisheye lens. You're just zooming out. You're not actually doing a peripheral lens. You're just zooming out. So in my opinion, I think it looks bad. You can go ask, filmers in Hollywood and stuff, like, what the best way is to film something. And usually, you want to zoom in a little bit. Now, if you zoom in a little bit, you're going to have to move your camera back. So you move your camera back, you zoom in a little bit, and what you're left with just looks a lot better, a lot cleaner. Another thing you want to try to do is, the whole reason you're filming the trick is to show people the trick. If they can't see the trick because you're all zoomed out, or your camera's not close enough, no one's going to see the trick. They're going to have to rewind, not because the trick is good, because they can't even see what you did. So the whole point of making a skate video is to show off the skating. So you want to make sure that when you set up your camera angle, you want to have the skateboard and the feet roughly in the center of the shot at all times, if you can keep it there. Placing a camera angle, so you put the camera where you want it to be, where you want it to start, and then you're going to hit square to create a keyframe. That keyframe basically sets that position of that camera. And if you want to delete that keyframe, you just go to the keyframe and then you hold square and then it will delete the keyframe. So as you play the clip through slowly, you can either hit X and slow it down using L2, or you can just have it paused and hit R2 slowly to roll the clip through. And you roll the clip through, you find the next position for your camera and you put it there. Now this first camera setup is not going to work because I'm setting it up in a way that will just kind of prove a point. If the camera positions are like really far apart, you're going to want the keyframes to be really far apart. If you put them too close, the camera's going to want to like move really rapidly in ways that you just don't want. Another thing is when you pan the camera, so looking from one side to another, you get this weird line glitchy thing going on in the footage. I don't know if it happens on PC, but it happens on console, and it just doesn't look good. So I try to avoid that by doing either a follow cam from behind, the side, or from the front. Now once you're done setting all your camera points, you just hit the big trackpad in the middle of your controller and it will then switch to the camera keyframes that you've just created. And so here you see I almost go out of frame and then almost out of frame again, and to me that looks like I gave a 5-year-old an iPhone and was like, hey, film this. So that doesn't look good. So I would never just be like, oh yeah, I'll use that. Just like getting the clips, you want to set the camera angles again and again and again until you find something that you're actually really happy with, that looks good, where you can actually see, because as the person who did the trick, you know what trick it is, but can you see what that trick is? If you came back in 1 year and looked at that trick, would you be able to call it? So you want to be able to see the trick like right away. So we're going to go back, we're going to set more camera angles just from following, no panning, just looking back and following the skater. So, and again, this camera setup will look better than the first one, but it's still probably not the one that I'm going to use. I'll do a few different camera setups and then pick the best one. So just getting one clip, you should be doing many trick tries, taking the best one, and then doing many camera setups and picking the best one. And that's going to be how you're ending up with your best clip that you can possibly get, every single clip that you get. So as you can see, this one is a lot better already. For me, I think it's a little too far away still from the skateboard and the feet, but like I said, that's not going to be the camera setup I use. Another thing that I do that I don't see a lot of other people doing, it's a little trick that I've learned over the years of editing. You want to actually take the footage and when you record it, you want to record it slowed down. So because it saves gameplay and not the video, your gameplay slowed down is still in 30 frames a second. If you record slow-mo gameplay at 30 frames a second, during the editing process, when you speed the 30 frames a second slow down back up to normal speed, if you're rendering or exporting in 30 frames a second, it'll remain 30 frames a second, but it'll just look cleaner. If you render at a higher frame rate, you'll actually be able to fill in the frames because you're shortening it. And it's a little trick, so you can actually get 60 frames a second footage from console. It just takes a little bit of rigging in the editing software. Now here you can see I'm just playing it at regular speed, and you'll notice when I put them side by side, and now take note, both these clips, the regular speed one and the slow down one, they come from the exact same clip. So I'm not adding anything, any effects, any color correction, nothing. It's the same clip, but one's slowed down and one's not. And when I put them side by side, you're going to notice a pretty obvious quality difference. So the one on the right is the slowed down recording sped up, and the one on the left is the one that was just recorded at normal speed. And also, if you ever want to slow a trick down, midway trick or whatever, when you slow it down, it's just going to slow back down, it's going to keep its frame rate, instead of if you record at normal speed and then slow it down after, you're going to lose frames and it's going to look choppy when you slow it down. So this last clip, this is the camera setup that I ended up going with. The camera kind of tilts a little bit as it goes back. Obviously I slow it down, and I'll do a little one clip edit at the end here. If you guys have any questions about filming or techniques or editing software, there's a lot of free editing software you can get on mobile phones, PCs. Share Factory would be my third option. PC editing software would be number 1, mobile editing software number 2, Share Factory would be my number 3. Obviously you'd have to learn how to use any editing software you end up getting. You have to learn how to use that on your own. The better you learn how, the more freedom and creativity you'll have during the editing process. So if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try to get to all of them. And here's that one clip edit.
Every day, man, you know that I go insane. Yeah, I hit you with a bullet to the brain. Let us stop first, cause we going insane.